right, so your first step is that you're going to get the email that has the data in it. Okay, that's right here. So your file will say exported data most likely. You want to save that to your drive. Okay, so you save that to your drive, click on that, and it'll do that for you. Right, then you're going to go into your drive and find that file wherever you put it. Okay, if you're looking at like the recent stuff, it should be the most recent thing you looked at, which is right here. Okay, so it's exported data, it's right here. All right, what I want to do now is just open that. So if I double click on it, okay, it'll open it like this, which I can't do anything with. But the option is here to open with Google Sheets, and that's what I want to do. All right, so I'm going to click on that, and it'll open it in Google Sheets here in just a second, and it's a mess. Okay, it's a total mess right now. The data I got had 3 separate runs because the group that sent it to me this morning, okay, their first couple runs they weren't happy with, so they ran a 3rd run. So I'm going to delete a bunch of the stuff that I don't need. Okay, a bunch of the stuff I don't need is basically everything to do with runs 1 and 2. So if that happened to your group, okay, you'll need to eliminate all the runs you're not going to use. So you highlight them and then click the arrow here and just say delete columns A through J. All right. So now that just leaves me with these. Actually, I also want to delete this one because I don't need that one either. Okay, so I'm going to delete that column as well. And I don't want all this run 3 stuff up at the top. So I'm going to click on there, okay, and I'm going to delete that row as well. So now I've got time, position, velocity, and acceleration. I don't need the acceleration data, so that's another column I'm going to get rid of. These are the columns I need. I have to make 2 separate graphs. I need to make a position versus time graph and a velocity versus time graph. So what I actually have to do is to make another sheet. Okay, you do that by clicking this plus sign down here where it says add sheet. Okay, click on that and it'll make another sheet. Then I'm going to copy over the time column. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that, put it over here. Okay, and then I'm going to copy over the velocity data. Actually, I'm going to cut over the velocity data. Didn't work. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here and put that back in. Okay, so now I've got one sheet where my position time data is and one sheet where my velocity time data is. At this point, I want to build my graph because I need to see what points are good and what points aren't. Then I'll know which ones to eliminate. Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of it, go to Insert, Chart. This is where Google Sheets always picks the wrong format. Okay, so you're going to go to the old chart editor here and pick Scatter Plot. Okay, so that's right here. All right, so I can see that probably the section of the data I want to use is right in here, right? Somewhere between like 0.8 seconds and 1.8 seconds, right? You see guys how I do that? I just put my pointer on the point and it tells me the X values and the Y values. Okay, you can see X value is 1.65, Y value is 0.65. So this is the section of data I want to keep. So I'm going to delete everything before 0.8 and after 1.8. Everyone with me so far? Okay, so I'm just going to update that right now and move it over out of the way. That way I can watch the effect of all the changes I make. So I said I wanted to delete everything after 1.8. So I'm just going to highlight all of that and get rid of it. Okay, I'm just going to delete all of those cells. Okay, now they're gone. All right, now I have to eliminate this data here, okay, that's coming before the good data. So I'm going to go back. That's everything before time 0.8 seconds. Here's the difference. I want to keep the time. I just want to get rid of the position data. So I'm going to highlight the position data down to 0.75 seconds. And then I'm going to ask it to delete it, but I'm going to say delete cells. And then I'm going to select Shift Up. That'll move all my measured data up to time 0. Okay, so it'll be like the good stuff started at the beginning of the experiment. Everyone follow? And that's what I want. I want it to look like I did the experiment right. Okay, so I'm going to click Shift Up. Boom. All right, so now I've got this data here. I know I still don't really need anything okay, past this, and that's fine. Okay, these data points won't make any difference. So I've got all my good data now. I'm just going to highlight the data, okay, and oh, what happened to my graph? It went away. Okay, so I'm just going to regraph that. So I'm going to insert a chart, okay, and go to scatter. All right, that data looks much better as a position versus time graph of an accelerating object. Okay, so I'm going to keep all that stuff, go to my customization, put in a title, make my axes are labeled already, so that's good. Okay, I do need to put in a trend line, but what kind of relationship is this? Like, do I want to put in a linear, exponential, or polynomial for this? This is a curve, so it's not linear. I would say probably this one, right? That has a nice fit. I don't have to do any calculating, so I don't have to put in an equation for that. I just need that to look like that, right? Then I'm going to click update. I've got that graph in there now. Then I go to my velocity versus time data, and I regraph that. I've got to do the same thing here, guys. I've got to eliminate the data that wasn't good. Okay, so that means I've got to highlight the rows to point. Looks like 0.85, okay, where this data doesn't make any sense, where it says I'm going backwards at 6 meters per second. Okay, clearly that wasn't happening, right? So I'm just going to delete those and do the same thing. I'm going to delete the cells and shift up. Okay, and then I can see here is where my error-filled data starts again. So I'm just going to take everything after that and get rid of it. Right, that leaves me with just the good data, and I can graph that. So I highlight it all, insert chart, okay, and I'm going to use a scatter plot, same as I did before, except this time it's not going to be an exponential relationship. It should be a bit more linear, I would hope. Okay, get the equation for the line, same as always. Questions on what to do with the data? Okay, make sure you put those two graphs and the charts into your lab report.